Hello Mabu, hi. Welcome back to my Salute House series, and sorry for not doing any new Salute episodes for such time a while. I was busy with other stuff. And today, I will salute on Sesame Street, because it's one of my all-time childhood favorites. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. Sesame Street is such a great and inclusive TV series for children, and families as well. I first remembered watching this series back in 2008, when I was only 18 months old, when my mother showed me some home videos of the series. I was fascinated with designs and characters of the series, and I ended up engaging with them so deeply that I ended up learning things fast and earlier than I expected. It was like my first school of life, even before I actually started real-life schooling. I couldn't get enough of the show because it is helpful of me to learn and remember what I saw and heard on the series for my lifestyle. For over 55 years since 1969, now 2025, it's been more than a TV show, it's been a neighborhood, a teacher, and a mirror for growing up, and no matter your age, you probably learned something important from it. Back to my story. In the time I first saw Sesame Street from such a young age, I ended up becoming a fan from the intended target audience at that time, and my mom, at times, bought me some Sesame Street books, toys, and some clothing. Now, I will show up the characters and tell how I feel about those characters. Big Bird is the heart of the street. Big Bird is 8 feet of innocence, and he is 6 years old. He's every question we've ever asked as kids, and every honest feeling we didn't know how to express. Gentle, curious, and endlessly kind, he's the child in all of us. Not just for kids, but for all. Bert is such a sensitive but friendly character. Is that friend who alphabet eyes, is there paper clips and gets frustrated by loud noises. But beneath the beige sweater is a loyal soul who just wants things to make sense. And hey, paper clips matter. Ernie is a giggly character with legs. He's playful, funny, spontaneous, and a professional bathtub philosopher. The perfect foil to Bert. Ernie reminds us that laughter is essential, even if it's rubber ducky fueled. His laughter effect is amusing to my ears. Aloysius Snuffleupagus, also known as Snuffy, is what happens when shyness meets wisdom. He's massive, soft-spoken, and always there for Big Bird. An introvert icon, proof that not all strength is loud, some others are quiet. The count is the joy of routine. The count doesn't just count, he celebrates it. Every number is a party. Every repetition, a ritual. He's the reason so many kids discovered that math could be musical, and just a little bit spooky. Cookie Monster is such a funny and a hunger-craving guy. Cookie Monster is more than a sugar-loving blue blur. He's the eternal struggle between impulse and wisdom. He teaches kids and adults that it's okay to want things and okay to slow down, too. Telly Monster is the anxious optimist. Telly worries about something that questions, about triangles, about friends, about everything, but he always tries anyway. Telly is like every overthinker who still shows up with heart and hope, and a quiet hero of emotional resilience. Baby Bear is the earnest dreamer. Baby Bear talks with a lisp, paints with passion, and believes deeply in his own stories. He is so gentle, expressive, and always trying his best even when things get messy. An artist with such a big heart. Zoe is such an energetic girl monster who loves to dance. She is 3 years old, and she's full of energy, imagination, and unapologetic fun. With her tutu and twirls, she dances through life and reminds us that self-expression is powerful, especially when backed by glitter. Grover is such a clever blue guy. Grover tries so hard to find an idea. As a waiter, a superhero, a friend, he stumbles, crashes, and always gets back up. He's courageous without grace, and somehow, that's what makes him perfect. Prairie Dawn is such a smart girl in that universe. She is the director, the planner, the one who holds the script and probably wrote it, too. She's very calm, capable, and has a pianist's heart. Rosita is a lovable bilingual monster. She is 5 years old, and she is warmth in 2 languages. As one of the first bilingual Muppets, she brings heritage, pride, and music to the street. She reminds us that identity is something to be celebrated, not hidden. Abby Cadabby is such an adorable fairy character on the street. Abby is a fair in training, and that says it all. She is 4 years old, and she's new, curious, and learning how the world works. She brings magic to the everyday, and isn't afraid to mess up along the way. Julia is such a friendly and love-carrying character with an autistic heart. I mean, she has autism, and she doesn't like it when people go out negatively. She is not just a character, but also a symbol of inclusion and understanding. She is so cute that I wanna give her a hug, along with her best friends. And lastly, Elmo is the star of the show, because became the face of a new generation of the show, one that connected deeply with preschoolers, parents, and pop culture alike. He is 3.5 years old. Elmo is such a cutest character I ever seen. He openly expresses love, frustration, excitement, sadness, and empathy. He helps normalize emotional expression for kids and gently teaches how to identify and handle feelings. And he reflects what childhood feels like. Honest, enthusiastic, sensitive, curious, and full of unconditional love. That is what Elmo makes him a hero in the series as a whole since the mid-1980s. This series treats children with respect in all kinds of ways. It respects children's intelligence, emotions, and imagination. Whether explaining the alphabet or exploring grief, it's gentle, but never condescending. That honesty, adorable and rare. The entire show radiates warmth. From the soft textures of Muppet fur to the pastel colors of stoops and signs, it feels like a cozy hug on screen. It's designed to feel safe, and that design choice is deeply lovable. It is genuinely funny, even for adults. From Bert's dry sarcasm to Grover's chaotic attempts at anything, the humor is clever, layered, and never lazy. Adults laugh too, not just because it's nostalgic, but because it's well written. It respects everyone's sense of humor. Their music is unforgettable. Such songs such as Sunny Days, Rubber Ducky, I Love Trash, Elmo's song, One Fine Face. These aren't just educational songs, they're musical comfort food. Funny, catchy, emotionally resonant. It embraces diversity so beautifully. Different races, languages, family structures, disabilities, and cultures are all welcome on Sesame Street. It's the kind of neighborhood we wish we lived in. That radical kindness. Incredibly adorable and so powerful. It bridges different generations. Parents watched it. Kids watch it. Grandparents hum the theme song. It's one of the few shows that feels like shared history with a bond between generations, wrapped in felt and love. Aside from the main street scenes, there are tons of segments I've known ever since I was little. The quirky animations, the unforgettable songs, the little sketches that pop into your memory. So many years later, they all stuck to my head so honestly. About the segments, I've always loved how Sesame Street goes far beyond the stoop. Some of my favorite memories weren't just on the main street, but in those creative little spin-off worlds that each character brought to life. First off is Abby's Flying Fairy School. This show was pure imagination. It took everything magical about Abby Cadabby and gave her a classroom full of spells, potions, and quirky classmates. And what made it extra cool, it used computer animation, but still felt so true to Sesame Street's spirit. It taught kids how to solve problems together, even if that meant conjuring up a dragon or accidentally shrinking the teacher. The second one, I know, is Murray Has a Little Lamb. It was like an early introduction to field trips. Murray and his lamb friend, Ovejita, would go visit real places, dance studios, karate dojos, fire stations, and show kids what real life looked like. It was fun, educational, and felt like Sesame Street, stepping into the real world. Then the third one, there's Global Grover. I really loved this one. Grover would travel the world and introduce us to kids in different countries of the world, showing how they lived, played, and went to school. It was lighthearted and goofy. Sure, but it quietly taught cultural appreciation and global awareness long before most shows even thought to. The fourth one was Bert and Ernie's Great Adventures. It is where these claymation-style shorts that took their classic odd couple energy and dropped it into wild fantasy settings. Pirates, astronauts, explorers, they'd bicker, they had bonds on, and somehow they always made it out okay. The stop-motion animation gave it a charming, handcrafted look that felt different but familiar. The fifth one was Hero Guy, where Baby Bear had to solve a problem about the topic of the episode, in his creative ways. He never gave up until he gets the solution right. The sixth one was Elmo the Musical, which came after Elmo's World, since 2012, and while it didn't hit quite the same nostalgia button for me, it was still super creative. Elmo would imagine himself in different musical roles, like a cowboy, a prince, even a sea captain, and each story was told through songs and dancing. It added a Broadway-like flair to Elmo's curious nature. It was such an incredible musical adventure around Elmo. Then the seventh and the final one is Elmo's World. That crayon-scribbled background, Dorothy the goldfish, Mr. Noodle being hilariously confused every single time. It was a perfect little universe for toddlers. Wholesome, funny, and designed to meet kids where they were developmentally. It's no wonder it became a cornerstone of the series. No wonder why many kids in the late 90s and 2000s, and even the early 2010s endorsed this series, because of Elmo. All these segments did more than to just entertain. They taught us to imagine, to explore, to understand others, and to believe that learning could come from anywhere, in real time. I also seen Elmo's World on TV5 back in 2009. I was only 2 years old when my parents prepped for work. They tuned me into TV5 for this series, and I was satisfied. But when we had cable the following year in 2010, I see full high-quality episodes of Elmo's World and Global Grover via Playhouse Disney, which later became Disney Junior. In July 2011, I had a sweet box of childhood memories in my head. All those great memos on television back then, alongside Disney media as well. You know, when I look back at all the sketches, the songs, the characters, and those crazy creative segments, it all feels like more than a TV show. It feels like home. Sesame Street raised generations not just by teaching us numbers and letters, but by showing us how to be kind, how to wonder, how to feel, and how to grow. Those segments, they weren't just filler between scenes. They were moments of imagination, empathy, and creativity. They showed us that a monster can be sensitive, a fairy can be curious, and a lamb can lead you to a ballet class. Whether it was Global Grover exploring the world, Abby casting spells in fairy school, or Elmo singing about socks, every piece of Sesame Street had a purpose. It was carefully made with heart, humor, and so much care, and what's wild is it still works. Decades later, kids are still laughing at Grover's chaos, still dancing with Elmo, still learning from Julia, Rosita, and Big Bird. The world's changed a lot, but that street, it is still sunny, very nostalgic, attractive, and beloved media in the piece of audiovisual multimedia universe. No matter how old we get, there is a little part of us that never leaves Sesame Street, and maybe that's the point. It's not just where we learned the ABC and 1, 2, 3s, it is where we learned to care. So, in conclusion, Sesame Street isn't just any ordinary show, it's a legacy for children of all ages, and older loved ones too, who grew up watching them in their early years of life. It is a place where letters and numbers come alive, where monsters teach us empathy, and where friendship looks like a tall yellow bird holding hands with a fuzzy red monster. It taught us how to count, but more importantly, how to care. It made learning feel like play, and play feel like something meaningful. It reminded us that no question is too small, and no heart is too big. Whether you grew up with Ernie's laughter, Elmo's giggle and love of learning, Grover's mayhem, or Abby's magic, Sesame Street gave us something special. A home we could return to anytime, no matter how old we are. So here's to the street that raised us, shaped us, and made us smile. Thank you so much, Sesame Street, for the sunny days, and for everything in between. In the end, Sesame Street has always been more than a television show. It's a place, a feeling where learning is joyful, kindness matters, and imagination is endless. It's where monsters have big hearts, friends come in every color, and everyone belongs. For over 5 decades, it's been guiding children and honestly, all of us to become more curious, more compassionate, and more connected. And as long as there are sunny days ahead, Sesame Street will always be there, waiting with open arms. Because no matter how old we get, we'll always know the way to Sesame Street. And that's all for this video. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell button to get notified for new videos I will upload next. And like this video if you're satisfied with it. Anyways, this is Antonio, over and out. See you again in the next video.